This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's got rid of the outside of both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson! Anderson's up top!
Oh my god! Oh. Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's gonna get rolled!
This is very close. These guys are going to want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, there we go! Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my god!
God, what?
Welcome to Detroit. We're here at the Detroit Grand Prix circuit at Belle Isle for week number 10. This is Just Send It. And tonight, well, we're going to see plenty and plenty of sends out there. Big thank you to our sponsors before we get into it. Wolfchester, Simworks, GB Galvanizing, The Hype Projects, Vantage Freight, and also JSE Technologies. My name is Jay Kennedy, and alongside me, as always, Lachlan Mansell. Lockie, welcome firstly. This is going to be an awesome night of racing, and what a stacked field of drivers we've got out there tonight.
We certainly do have a star-studded field of drivers lining up on the grid, but before we get to those, let's just talk about the vehicles and the track, because we've got 700 plus horsepower trucks on a tight and technical concrete wall line street circuit. What could possibly go wrong tonight, Jay?
Well, everything, but that's what Just Send It's known for, so I don't think we really care if it does all go wrong in some aspects. It's going to be fun either way, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see 10 different race winners from 10 different races, because the quality of drivers and the way that the field is going to be ordered will mean that the back-to-back winners or multiple race winners, highly unlikely. The only one that may be able to do it will be Cooper Webster, who will be starting up towards the pointy end. But everyone else up the pointy end, I don't believe has won a race before.
But just talking about the quality of the field, Jay, we were going through it off air just before the broadcast started. We've got a couple of Bathurst 1000 winners. We've got a couple of Virgin Australia Supercar champions. We've got 2 Super 2 Series champions. We've got multiple Australian Formula Ford Championship race winners. We've got drivers who've had podium finishes in Porsche Carrera Cup, and lots of drivers with vast success in various other state and national categories as well. So obviously it's all about the sim racing tonight, but lots of drivers there with lots of very impressive real world accomplishments.
100%. And the other thing too is there's a lot of drivers that have some real world accomplishments that haven't even made the field tonight. So Aaron Russell was out there on track before. He hasn't made the cut. Also, don't believe I can see Nick Percat's name in the field. He was out there in practice earlier and was trying to get himself up the order. And SVG and Scott McLaughlin, both out there on track tonight. Very, very well known to our broadcast here on SimSpeed TV. So great to have them out there on track. And I must say that there'll be a little bit of bragging rights going on between those two, because neither of them got a qualifying lap time in. They both both tried to do a last second dash to get qualifying in. Both got taken out, so they'll start from the rear of the grid, we believe.
That's going to be entertaining. They're really going to have to send it, aren't they, to try and make up some positions. What we've seen in previous editions of Just Send It is that typically there has been a bit of drama on the opening lap, so it's just about how hard do you go early, or how much do you maybe decide to settle back and minimise your chances of getting caught up in some of the pandemonium that we've seen early on in the races.
So that there is SVG out there in the 41 in his familiar bizarre colour schemes of all sorts of weird colours. He doesn't have anything too normal in regards to colour schemes for SVG's cars on iRacing. So that's his, and familiar yellow and red and black for Scotty Mack. So the 40 and the 41 are the two to watch tonight.
Let's talk about these vehicles as well, because from what I can gather, they're a bit like the stadium super trucks that we see racing here in Australia, except without the jumps. So quite heavy, quite big, quite high-riding vehicles that have a fair bit of horsepower. They're going to get very, very sideways through the corners. So car, or in this case truck control, is going to be one of the critical factors tonight.
Yeah, and no brakes as well, so you see how late, I wouldn't say that Scotty's fairly late on the brakes there, not overly quick as well, so just seeing top speeds of around about 170 to 175 k's per hour, so, well, there we go. And we said before we've got on air that there was a truck rolling down the straight and said, oh, that's Job Stewart. Well, guess what? Job Stewart's just rolled again, and he's just served Scotty Mack, and he's now upside down as well. So that's what we're going to see in tonight's race. And I must say, I'm thoroughly looking forward to it. It's going to be good fun to see who's out there. Andrew Collins, currently the pace setter in the warm-up session, but the pace setter in qualifying, no surprise, Josh Anderson, once again, showing that he is one of the best out there in sim racing, and also very, very quick in the real world as well.
So Andrew Collins has been one of the most consistent performers on Just Send It. As I've mentioned in previous broadcasts, he's not a real world racing driver, but he is a real world racing engineer for the Ashley Seawood Motorsport team that runs cars in Carrera Cup, Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge and in TCR. And he hasn't won a race yet, Andrew Collins, but he's been on the podium 3 times, which is more than anybody else in the field.
Probably could have had a win back at Phillip Island a few weeks ago. We'll quickly run through our start grid. Oh, how's this for a joke? The man that's upset cams in our Facebook video this week, Reeslow will start from pole, Anderson second, Cooper Webster third, SVG's been pushed up to fourth, and McLaughlin in fifth, with Berkeley doing a great job in sixth position, Michael Hammond in seventh, Michael Healy in eighth. We've got a little bit of time to get through the grid because we've got a rolling start tonight. Job Stewart in ninth and Glenn Postlethwaite in 10th. But there's some big names all the way through the field. Gary Hamilton, one of the best GT racers in Australia and New Zealand. Terry Nightingale, a name that's very, very familiar to you, a fellow commentator in the real world. It's good to see Terry back out on track, and Andrew Collins starting from 16th.
Indeed, great to see Terry Nightingale back in the field. Good to see Blake Purdy out there as well. He was the winner in the Formula Renault at Phillip Island. He races in the real world in the miniature race car series, but had a pretty tough round at Wakefield Park on the weekend in the Australian Motor Racing Series event. So good to see him back, just running a bit further back. Chris Coxhead, he's a driver who's had real world racing experience, racing in the Wakefield and the Winton 300 endurance races in a Mazda MX-5. And we know that the likes of Matt Morris and Chris Owen are some of the front-running sim racers as well, so expects them to make their way through. And
Australia's only World Championship driver in the Rallycross series, Bob King, out there in P18. But we'll skip the rest of the grid because we're going to go green here. As Reese Lowe's pulled it up on the front straight, and this is going to cause all sorts of carnage because a few drivers might get some black flags. As Josh Anderson just blitzes away and says, thank you, I'll take the lead of the race. And SVG's been caught all the way back in the field. Remember, he was starting in fourth. There's already a car around in the background. And that's what a great start there to Just Send It. That's in typical Just Send It fashion. Got cars around already, but at the front of the field, it looks like we're fairly clean. And it looks like Joel Berkeley's run with him, Michael Healy and Glenn Postlethwaite as well, all running at the front fairly clean. But have a look at this midfield here. I must say there's some bizarre looking cars out there too with some of the liveries we've got out there tonight. Using this grass through the inside of turn 3, apparently that's fair game as well.
Well, I suppose that these vehicles have got a bit of ground clearance, haven't they? So I actually quite like how they can use all of the grass. Oh no, we've got drama back in the pack with a couple of stadium trucks.
Or they're going again though.
Trucks, they're upside down. But that's the great thing, isn't it? Even if you do have a rollover, you can land on all 4 wheels, you can keep going again. Just don't reverse into the pack like the number 54 did then.
Yeah, not sure who that was. 54, Janine Vaughan that was, who backed in front of the field, left a big wreck behind, and there's a truck stuck in the fence. There's all sorts going on there. Ben Christensen stuck in the fence, but we go back to the front of the field. Josh Anderson leading the field over Joel Berkeley, and then we've got Michael Healy, Glenn Postlethwaite, and Cooper Webster. So a couple of real-world drivers in 4 of these top 5, all real-world drivers in some aspect.
Yeah, we haven't really spoken that much about Glenn Postlethwaite, but he's a real-world racer as well. He races...
Oh, no.
Oh, we'll get back to that because we've got more drama here. Bob King, unfortunately, involved in that. Another truck buried underneath him. Chris Owen having to take evasive action to avoid getting caught up in that drama. It's been a weird start, hasn't it? It was almost like a few drivers were caught unawares because we were green before some of them were really ready, and we've already got our competition caution. That's very early.
Now, I'm wondering if this is actually a caution to help fix up a couple of trucks and get the order back sorted, because I wouldn't be surprised if there's a few trucks that got a black flag at the start. So we'll be able to go through the order a little bit and see who we've got out there. But yeah, it has been a carnage-filled start, unfortunately. I was speaking to Mitch McLeod, who's currently in 7th position before the race, and he's had bad luck in every single race, so he's actually determined to try and get up the front of the field to avoid the carnage. Well, I must say, for the most part, it's worked for him so far. He's in P7. He's made it through lap 1 for the first time in 10 races in Just Send It. That's a pretty good record.
Having a look at the order, so Joel Berkeley, Josh Anderson, Michael Healy, back to Glenn Postlethwaite, Cooper Webster, Michael Hammond, then Mitch McLeod, Job Stewart, Andrew Collins and Gary Hamilton. That's your top 10 at the moment. Just having a look to see some of the drivers who might have got caught up in that incident on the opening lap. So Ollie Shannon, the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge racer for GWR, he's down in 35th position. Shane Van Gisbergen all the way back to 40th. And quite a few drivers in the pits, including, unfortunately, Blake Purdy and also Lachlan Maneef. So there are a couple of drivers who've been caught up in some of the cut and thrust that we saw on that opening lap.
It was absolute chaos and mayhem. We'll hopefully get a word in from the guys here at Race Control to try and work out what's going on and make sure that this isn't our competition caution, or understand if it is our competition caution, because that would be interesting if we've got it at this stage of the race. But I think this might be good to sort of help settle the field a little bit, and settle the nerves potentially as well.
What it means, if this is the competition caution and we're going to go green all the way through, it means that everybody's going to have to do their pit stops under green flag conditions, which is a bit different to what we've seen in previous weeks. But is it too early to pit? That would be a question that I would ask. We've still got almost 36 minutes to go. I'm not sure that you'd be able to get home on fuel range if you were to come in and take your pit stop now.
Yeah, I think that'd be a big concern for a lot of the drivers, especially at the front of the field. If you're up towards the front, have a look at the pit lane. Fairly busy already, and we haven't even got the trucks coming past the pit entry yet. So pit lane, already a flurry of activity with all of these damaged trucks. Josh Anderson comes through the second last corner around this absolutely spectacular circuit at Belle Isle in Detroit. Beautiful parkland street circuit. And Anderson, of course that's going to be a fake. There was never ever going to be a move into the pits there. As we said, way too early. Mitch McLeod has come in. There's a couple others back in the field there that have decided to jump in the lane. Maybe just to get out of a bit of chaos and maybe try and undercut later on in the race.
Maybe they think that they can fuel save, and maybe they think that they can get home from here. It's a bit of a risk, but if you're a bit further down the order, maybe it's one that's worth taking. Dominic Ferraris, one of our previous Just Send It race winners in the Ferrari, comes in as well.
He had to go in a red one, wouldn't he? With a name like Ferraris, he'd have to be in a red car. There's no other way to be out there, even if it's not a real Ferrari. You'd have to be out there in a red one, but the lights are off on the safety car, so we'll go green this time. And our only corner on the circuit where you can really shortcut and use the dirt is turn 3 here, and we're going to see every single driver in the field shortcut this by the end of the race. No drivers by the end will be using that tarmac at all. Everyone will be shortcutting it.
Of course, that's the quickest way to go. Basically, the only bounds of this particular racetrack in these particular vehicles are the concrete walls. Anything else is fair game.
It's a very, very cool circuit as well. We've seen it in all sorts of races here on SimSped. Of course, it will make its debut V8 Scops later on in the year as well, which should be really, really cool to see the Aussie touring cars out there and watch them fight around the concrete jungle. These 700 horsepower machines already finding a little bit more difficult than some of the drivers would have expected, but I must say I've enjoyed the half a lap of green we've had already. Looking forward to seeing a little bit more clean action. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how it goes.
So we all sort of take our breath, don't we, and get ready for another big flurry of activity when the race restarts, which it's just about to do.
Yep, the iRacing pace truck, well, the pace car, I nearly said pace truck. We do have a pace truck that runs on the dirt side of things with the iRacing pace truck, but the safety car, the Porsche safety car, leading around these trucks. I must say it'd be intimidating for the safety car driver to see these trucks come up behind him and get worried to get run over, wouldn't he? A bit like Bigfoot.
So currently the highest place of the cars that's made a pit stop is Shane Van Gisbergen down in 41st position. For all of the Scott McLaughlin fans that are out there, he's currently in 30th spot. So the two supercar drivers, both with a bit of work to do here to work their way up through the field. And as we've seen in previous weeks, the danger of being buried in the pack is that you are vulnerable to being caught up in incidents.
100%. We've seen it in every single race so far, but one thing that these guys are very, very good at is wreck avoidance and making sure that they get their cars in the right spot to avoid those incidents and get out of trouble. But have a look at how quickly Anderson's gone. As soon as the pace car pulled in, he was gone. And Joel Berkeley, one of the more well-known drivers on the dirt side of things on iRacing, he's gone with him. I suppose it's probably more familiar to this sort of car.
Glenn Postlethwaite having a look up the inside of Michael Healy there as well in the battle for third position. They all seem to negotiate their way fairly cleanly through turns 1 and 2. We ride on board with Glenn Postlethwaite, who has a windscreen view full of Michael Healy as they head down into the braking zone for the next corner, and you can see that there's a combination of aggressive and defensive lines and contacts between the two race leaders as Berkeley clips the rear of Anderson, and we've got more moves happening, some big sends happening a bit further back as well.
Cooper Webster hit the tyre bundle on the outside of turn 3 there, missed the braking spot and just went a little bit wide. So Berkeley still going though, which is great to see. These vehicles do handle the damage pretty well in the most part. As we go back in the field, Chris Croxett and Chris Owen going at it there, and I must say those cars just ahead, Ruben Goodall in the number 20 truck just ahead, he's missing the whole front nose assemblies. Jack Hodges just gone up on 2 wheels and he's going to continue on. That's good to see.
He got forced wide there by somebody else, and that means that everybody else has to just take evasive action to avoid that slow-moving truck. Scott McLaughlin, he's already made up 5 positions since the race start, so good job from Scotty Mack there off the race start. Well judged to make up a few positions. Jack Hodges' truck seems to be blinking a bit, so it might be a bit of an internet glitch, and that's going to catch out the trucks behind. He's going to get turned around, he's going to get tipped upside down, and he's going to be an obstacle for everybody else to have to avoid.
Comes Postlethwaite side by side, banging wheels with Michael Healy, and Josh Anderson is checked out at the front of this field. And have a look at Michael Hammond trying to get a move done on Job Stewart. They're bumping wheels down the straight. Hopefully we don't see Stewart upside down again. He's been upside down twice in the pre-race. Hopefully not again. Big late send though from Hammond. How's that? Just straight into the door. I'll go through. See you later.
The door was open.
Oh no!
Oh, and gets a return serve as well on the exit. He gets squeezed into the wall. This is insane racing on just centre. Look at the bumping and grinding, and they're still going at it. Andrew Collins in position number 7. Just trying to work out whether look at this, they're barging left and right, pushing each other from one wall to the other one. That is insane racing.
Have a look at Hanson there, straight up the inside, 2 spots on the dirt. That's the way to do it. That is how you send it. Straight up the inside. Hanson gets 2 for 1 on the dirt. Oh no, Andrew Collins!
Oh, I almost thought he was going to save that and get away with it, but unfortunately he got tipped up on the wall. He reverses back out of the way and he turns back onto the racetrack right in front of the next pack of trucks. We'll have to check out the motion simulation replay of that one. But Andrew Collins, he's done that on his own. Just ran a little bit wide, clips the wall, and that's tripped him over.
And it just clipped that little bit of wall that was sticking out there where there's an opening for the marshals to get the cars back behind the fence, as Berkeley's lost that spot to Postlethwaite at the front of the field. And Hanson's got another couple of spots there. Actually, he's just run off the track again as Hanson. So it's up into 9th. At the start of this lap, I swear he was 13th or 14th. He's done a great job on this lap. Plus 20 positions in this race so far. Just lost one there,
He's going to lose, maybe not just one, but possibly more than that, because he got forced very wide there. Again, up against the wall. That's one of the things that we're seeing with these trucks, is that they can cough a bit of a pounding. They're not shy of barging into each other and rubbing each other up against the concrete walls, and they seem to be able to do a fair bit of that and get away with it. Here is Cooper Webster in position 11.
Yep, just behind you got Cody Bircher, Bailey Sweeney, and I believe, I'm not sure if that must be another truck that is a lap down there, the black truck, not sure who that is. But at the front of the field, Anderson's checked out to a 4-second lead. How has he got so far ahead? He's flying.
And he's done the fastest lap of the race as well, 1 minute 54.9. Next best lap time that we've seen is a 56.3, which was recorded by Michael Healy. So Josh Anderson with clear track and with no trucks that he's battling with at the moment has been able to put his head down. Oh,
who's that upside down there spinning around? That's Mitchell McLeod. So we said he was going to try and avoid the carnage, and have a look at who's on his lid as well. Job Stewart again. That's 3 from 3 for Job. And McLeod's, I reckon he's got an issue there because he's still doing donuts. And the track is now semi-blocked.
It's like a bit of an obstacle course, isn't it?
Ryan
Jones.
Get back in the comms box, Ryan. He's been sprouting all week about how good he is in these trucks, and it just shows that he's telling us lies.
That's a good reason to not talk yourself up for a racing event.
I learnt that years ago. When you know the people in the commentary box should never talk up your ability, you only have the statistics to prove that you can do it once. That's all you ever need. I must say, Gary Hamilton's looking good here. He's just, oh no, mistake there for Berkeley. But Hamilton used all of that dirt through turn 3, shortcut that corner. It just took heaps of time and has now closed in on this battle between Berkeley and Healy. Postlethwaite's checked out now. And Hamilton looks like he's going to close in on these guys. Going to go back in the field because McLaughlin's starting to make moves as well. He's up into 17th already. Remember, he was 40th at the start of the race.
He's made very good progress, and a couple of the other drivers who pitted earlier on are starting to work their way up through the field now as well. So Shane Van Gisbergen up to 23rd position. We saw a couple of the other drivers who made early pit stops. They're a bit further back in the pack at the moment, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see if the likes of Van Gisbergen, who stopped earlier on, have to stop again, or if they've got the fuel range to get home.
Just coming out of the pits there, the number 6 truck, I believe that is, Paul Nichols. So he's a couple of laps down. As Gary Hamilton, guess what he's just done? Shortcut the grass to get another spot at turn 3. Have a look at how much grass he's taking here. I don't think you'll believe how aggressive he is going through the grass here. Yeah, the 3rd truck back in line. Just going to go... Oh, he didn't do it that time. He's just proved me wrong. But the lap before, he just shortcut it so far. Didn't care, but he's got a spot anyway, up into 4th position now.
I have to say that this particular circuit's not as one that I'm familiar with some of the other tracks, so it's taking me a bit of time to get my head around what camera shot corresponds with each particular corner as we look back to Andrew Collins, who's on a recovery mission. I can't believe that he's still out there after that enormous crash that he had earlier on, but he is, and he's still running inside the top 20.
And he didn't even come into the pits to get damage fixed either, so he's still out there going, which is incredible. Cooper Webster now behind Berkeley, so Berkeley's lost a big chunk of time on these last couple of laps. His qualifying has dropped him down the order a bit. 37 car of Webster, and then you've got Cody Bertram behind as well. So those guys continuing on. I've just seen 2 on the timing. McLaughlin now up into 15th position. Just getting spots as Cameron Dance and Bob King change position. And just behind these guys, have a look at that horribly coloured truck just behind, getting 1 spot. He's going to get 2 and just bumps into the back Andrew Collins. That's SVG through now into top 20.
Shane Van Gisbergen doing a little bit of the bump drafting there and working his way up another couple of spots, but he is very much in the cut and thrust of the mid-pack now. He's in the danger zone where he might get caught up in incidents if he's not careful. But these trucks are tough, aren't they? They can certainly cop a knock or 2.
Not scared to bump and grind, and like, I mean, look at that truck at SVG's there. It's half of it missing. Doesn't care, just straight into Andrew Collins. I must say he wasn't too happy about being awarded the failed send last week, but I must say those little 2 bumps there, they've worked out, and he's just got the position through on Andrew Collins. Is that a successful send? I guess it would be if he's done the bump but actually got through without causing a wreck.
I still reckon Gary Hamilton's sends have been the best ones that we've seen so far tonight. We've got 3 awards, so let's not forget that we have to try and judge throughout the rest of this race.
Glad you said try.
So we've got the award for the best send, we've got the award for the biggest failed send, and then we've also got the award for the best postman, which is for the driver who makes up the most positions. Scott McLaughlin's a fair chance of contending for that, actually. So where is he at the moment? Position 14.
Technically, though, he's down 9 spots because he was placed on the grid up towards the front, but then did start back in the field. So he and Shane both a little bit higher than where they technically started, but on the timing sheets it won't show them as big as movers. And I'll tell you what, that's awkward to see as you come around the corner, a truck upside down. That's Vaughan again, upside down. Oh no, Collins has made contact again, and around. Andrew Collins has had a race to forget, hasn't he?
He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time there. That's a serious obstacle, having that truck parked on its roof in the middle of the track there. Let's check out the replay. So this is on board with Paul Nichols.
I'm sorry, I'll get the right camera shot in just a second. Here we go.
So Andrew Collins arrives. Oh, he was looking to go down the inside of the truck that was in front of him, but then unfortunately he's gone around one of the corners and found his path completely blocked.
Here we go, competition caution time. This is the official competition caution, and that's going to catch out a few drivers. I'll tell you what, there's still trucks upside down. This is incredible. Anderson's going to get caught out with a huge margin.
This does make it very interesting now, because what it shows is that earlier safety car that we had was not the competition caution. So we've got a second one, and this could well work out really well for Cooper Webster, because he is the highest placed driver who's done a pit stop. So Cooper Webster, could he be on target to become our first double winner in the Just Send It series?
I think we have to give him a penalty just to make sure that it doesn't happen. That's my thinking. Well, we'll see if we can arrange that. But yeah, it's oh, who's that's going through the grass there? Some of these drivers just don't care with. I must say, I wouldn't want to be the Detroit Council having to try and clean up all the dirt and the mud after this and try and repatch all the lawn. But this really hurts Anderson. He was out to a 7-second lead. That's incredible how big a margin he had at the front of the field, but he's going to have to work hard to get all of that back. Van Gisbergen did just come in and make his stop just before that caution come out too. Simon Black just ahead of him also came in on that last lap. So they've both made their stops at the perfect time. And just behind them too is Scott McLaughlin. So McLaughlin's been caught out on that last lap and dropped behind SVG while we were watching that replay of Andrew Collins, who also has come in and got some damage fixed. No, still out there with all that damage, so he's going to get caught out as well.
However, McLaughlin has done a stop as well, so
yep.
Both he and Shane Van Gisbergen are not going to be too badly placed once this race restarts, because there's still a lot of cars that haven't stopped yet and that are going to have to come back in.
So we're halfway through the race for week number 10, and I know something. I heard a little story that this week wasn't originally going to be the combination. That you've recorded your own little video for us for a combination, which I think will be out next week. So fingers crossed it will be. But recorded it from the comms box at Bathurst.
Indeed I did, so I can't reveal anything yet because I'm sworn to secrecy, but yes, the track announcement for, presumably for next week's race, was recorded from in the commentary box at the Bathurst 1000, so stay tuned for that one. Hopefully that'll be coming up next week. Obviously this weekend we've got the Gold Coast 600 where you'll get to see Shane Van Gisbergen and Scott McLaughlin in action, along with all of the other Virgin Australia Supercars Championship drivers. Hopefully they'll be back for some virtual racing action once again next week as well. Yep,
fingers crossed. And I just want to give you the opportunity to award a special award there. Does SVG win Best Dressed tonight?
Ooh,
with the tuxedo.
I'm liking that. I am liking that. Very classy.
When you get told to suit up for a race, it's always good to see. I must say Scotty's always looks good too because he's running his real
DJR Penske race suit.
Oh no, car around that Simon Black just looped it around just ahead of SVG and Scotty Mack. And Simon, well-known member to the Oz and Z sim racing community. Good to see you out there on track. Admin's many series doesn't get to race anywhere near as much as he used to, so great to see him out there having a little drive and a steer out there for Just Send It. We'll see who comes into the pits now though as they come down the back straight.
Pretty embarrassing spinning under safety car conditions
though. I've done it before.
We've all got stories about mistakes that we've made during safety cars or during caution periods. But Shane Van Gisbergen, I think somebody needs to tell him that the Supercars Gala dinner is not until the Monday night after the Newcastle round, because it looks like he's already suited up ready for the Gala dinner behind the wheel of the truck tonight.
I'm just worried that if the guys turn up the night after that to race, how messy the race could be. If they all turn up to race hungover, that could be a very, very interesting night.
Not to mention the commentators as well. I'll be in attendance at the Garland dinner, and I can't guarantee that
I'll be
I'm going to be well behaved.
Well, there's a chance that Jonathan will be there too, so it could be just me to hold the fort. This is it's interesting now. So Cooper Webster now is our race leader officially, as all the lap down trucks will get back on the lead lap, as Reese clearly pointed out in the promotional video this week. He upset a few people with that promo video, and right on cue, he actually is waving himself by the safety car. There you can see him in the Pennzoil truck on the left hand side of screen. Of course he's waved himself by him. He is one lap down though. There's Reese. So he was the guy that was abusing everyone in the promo video for the week. So hope everyone did have a little bit of a laugh at that, because it was quite funny.
So let's have a look, because we've now got a corrected race order. So we've got Cooper Webster leading ahead of Joel Berkeley. Ollie Shannon is third, but hasn't done a pit stop yet. Then it's Shane Van Gisbergen in position 4. Jonathan Beekoff in 5th position, the Super 3 driver. Back to Michael Healy, Scott Goodman. Josh Anderson's drops back to 9th position after the pit stop, behind Goodman, Healy and McLaughlin, and then it's Bob King rounding out the top 10 ahead of Glenn Postlethwaite.
Interesting that Healy has actually jumped Anderson in the pit stops, 2.5 second quicker pit stop, so that's a little bit interesting there. And as you said, Oliver Shalin, Ollie, the only driver yet to make that pit stop in this race. Interesting strategy call. I don't know if I'd be game to continue on without a pit stop. But Cooper Webster, Shane Van Gisbergen, both in a very, very good position to maybe get 2 wins in this series. So Scott McLaughlin also has won a race in this series too, I believe.
No, Scott McLaughlin's yet to win a race, but Shane Van Gisbergen won at Monza.
Yes. When we had the huge explosion from Ethan Grigult flying through the air. Still one of the most memorable moments we've had, just said it so far. Literally flying through the air after the race had finished, but this is will be an interesting restart here. I wouldn't be surprised to see SVG go ultra aggressive here to try and win it or come last. I don't think he wants a third or a second. He wants to win.
And there's only one car separating Shane Van Gisbergen and Scott McLaughlin, which is Jonathan Beekoff in position 5. So we saw Van Gisbergen and McLaughlin battling for the win in real life at Bathurst a couple of weeks ago, and they're just about to be battling on track in the virtual world.
Yep, also former teammates in the sim racing world as well, back in the day at ANZ Motorsports with Justin Rougier as well. Jared Filsell also come through that team as well, of course, racing for Walkinshaw Andretti United. As Berkeley gives Cooper Webster a big bump at the start, saying, hurry up, mate, let's go. And Cooper Webster's taken that as an opportunity to get a bit of ground. SVG's the one under pressure here. That bike off having a look, and Scott McLaughlin also trying to make moves in the background. Anderson and Healy, Bob King also getting involved in an incident there, as Hansen has a bit of a moment there. But for the most part, I was about to say we're going to be clean, but how's that for a commentator's curse? I didn't even finish my sentence before we've had an incident.
Once again, the bumping and grinding happens as soon as they get through turn number 1. It's down here in the braking zone in the second corner, the right hand, where drivers are taking a bit of risks getting up on the dirt. But look at that, both Shane Van Gisbergen and Scott McLaughlin charging through. Jonathan Beekoff as well, just barging their way up the inside of Ollie Shannon in the number 36, who was getting absolutely swamped.
Webster!
Van Gisbergen
Just push Webster into the wall. So Berkeley now leads the race. Van Gisbergen in second. Cooper Webster's back to third as Beekoff and McLaughlin bump wheels coming out onto the huge, long back straight. And Oliver Shannon now probably ruining his decision to stay up because he hasn't got pace because of the damage. And he's just getting swamped by all of these fast guys as well.
So Shane Van Gisbergen and Scott McLaughlin have now got some relatively clean track to work with, but it's all going on behind them. Beekoff getting muscled out high and wide there as Ollie Shannon does his very best to try and hold on to some track position. He's going to have to pit eventually though, and that's going to cause him to plummet down the field. Here is Josh Anderson, the driver who led for so much of the early laps of this race, now buried in traffic, but we know that he's got pace. Oh no, he's been turned around. So that's a disaster for
Oliver
Josh
Shannon
Anderson.
too. Oliver Shannon's involved. There's a few other trucks involved, and Josh Anderson is out of the race. Bob King was involved in that too. We're going to go back to the front of the field, though. We'll stay away from that huge wreck because it's still going on in the background. Have a look at this battle. Joel Berkeley has a huge red, whatever colour that is, bizarre blue and fluoro green truck looming in the rear. SVG is coming and coming very, very quick.
He's fast, isn't he, Shane Van Gisbergen? Had a good pit strategy, was buried down the order earlier on in the race, but he came into the pits at the perfect time, and he's got himself into a position where he can contend for victory in this race. We were talking about Cooper Webster and the possibility of him becoming a double winner. Well, SVG might be the one who becomes the first two-time winner in the Just Send It series because he is all over the back of Joel Berkeley, who's going to have to drive ultra defensively to try and hold on to the lead. And if these two start battling, it's going to invite both Cooper Webster and Scott McLaughlin into the contest as well.
And Michael Healy and Hanson also aren't too far away, as you just see a damaged truck. That'll be the 11 truck there of Job Stewart, about to go a lap down. So he's limping back around to finish this race. We've got about 6.5 laps of racing to go. Not many laps left. SVG is looming. He's just trying to work out where he can get this move done, but he needs to do it quickly because Cooper Webster is closing in very, very fast, as is Scott McLaughlin too. Just a little bump there under brakes, letting Berkeley know, hey, I'm coming, I'm not far away, I'm going to take this.
This is shaping up for a grandstand finish, isn't it, with all of these drivers, very high quality, very talented sim racers, and Van Gisbergen does the bump and run on Healy, gives him the tap going into the corner, gets the better exit. Healy wants to fight back. Here comes Cooper Webster. Three of them all fighting for the lead, all trying to outbreak one another. Healy tries to go around the outside of Van Gisbergen. Van Gisbergen's not going to have any of that, and Cooper Webster jams it down the inside of Healy as well. So in the blink of an eye, Healy gets relegated from first back to third.
Yeah, good job there from Webster to get through. And they've actually broken McLaughlin too. I thought McLaughlin was going to stick with him. How's that? Side by side through turn 1 and a little bump through turn 2 on the grass. Cooper Webster into the wall, bounces off the wall, and Joel Berkeley says, I'm taking that spot back. We're going to continue on. But that's allowing SVG to just break away at the front.
And it is allowing McLaughlin to catch up, so it is now a four-way battle for the lead of this race. And like you say, it's probably, if anything, it's helped out Van Gisbergen, but there's a lapped truck ahead. Van Gisbergen already just about clear of it by the looks of things. Oh no, Van Gisbergen's actually slowed up, and that is Healy back down the inside. So the fight for the lead resumes. The lap truck was the one a bit further ahead. They bang doors once again as Van Gisbergen holds station on the inside of the circuit, and McLaughlin has caught right in now. Four trucks nose to tail, all fighting desperately for the win.
Joel Berkeley, Shane Van Gisbergen, Cooper Webster and Scott McLaughlin all in this pack together. Any four of these guys could win this race. Don't discount Michael Healy and Hanson Meyer. Oh, shit, Glenn Postlethwaite as well, all not far away as well, because this has the potential to be a huge, huge incident as Berkeley gets back in the lead, but there's another bump between SVG. And now Cooper Webster's getting involved in this now too, and Webster will try and take second position away from Berkeley. Berkeley's just been a pinball in the last lap and a half.
It's hard physical racing, isn't it? And it seems that some of the trucks have got strength in some parts of the track, others are stronger in other parts of the track. As once again, it's Berkeley who makes contact with Van Gisbergen. They will go door to door down to the next corner, and Berkeley's going to be well positioned here on the inside. McLaughlin's might be the big beneficiary of this. He's going to come through, and he's going to move up into second position. What an opportunistic move from our Bathurst 1000 champion.
Yep, McLaughlin's from P4 to P2 in one corner, and I tell you what, isn't this reminiscent of last weekend? Scott McLaughlin with Shane Van Gisbergen right behind. This is going to be a battle for the next 5 laps of racing. Joel Berkeley's got a bit of breathing room, and out of the pits comes a car, and there's a little bit of a bump. SVG makes contact as well with that car out of the pits. Cooper Webster's there, and have a look at this. Michael Healy is in there too, and he's going to take the spot away from SVG by the looks.
A few of these laps trucks need to just get out of the way, I reckon. They need to realise that we've got an awesome battle going on for the lead, and they need to just dodge out of the way of it and not get involved. We've got one of them that's been nudged off into the fence a bit further back in the pack.
So Healy's in that now and just got ahead, and now Scott McLaughlin just slow, possibly with a slow down cut track penalty, cut the corner a little bit too aggressively and a slight penalty, so he's back in the field. And in there also the 21 truck, which is a lap down. That's Blake Purdy. Probably needs to get out of the battle here, but McLaughlin's dropped all the way back to 7th now and is right behind Hansen, trying to push him up into the position as well.
Yeah, some of those drivers have come on very strongly in recent laps. So Mia Ott and also Jay Hansen, they've both been doing very quick lap times. While all of that battling was going on amongst the leaders, they were able to close right in. So what was only 4 trucks battling for the lead a couple of laps ago, it's now become genuinely a 6 or 7 truck freight train at the front of the field.
Oh no! Into the wall goes Michael Healy. SVG has to check up to make sure he doesn't clean him up. As just in the background you saw Mia Ott into the wall as well. So Berkeley now has a 2-second advantage over Cooper Webster. Now Healy and SVG, they've dropped a fair way back now. So these guys are really got to pull their finger out to try and get back onto Berkeley. He's just got a bit of a free kick out of this. And
so once again it's Cooper Webster who finds himself in the position where he's got the best chance of becoming our first double winner in the Just Send It series. He's in position 2 at the moment. He is 1.8 seconds behind our race leader, Joel Berkeley. Here is the margin on screen.
That's the gap back to 3rd and 4th as the camera swapped over to the other one. Just as I was trying to get that shot, you can just see there at the bottom of the screen, just going through, is Joel Berkeley. There's Cooper Webster. And defending on the inside in the Milwaukee truck, that's Michael Healy. Shane Van Gisbergen in that horribly coloured truck. A little bit better than the Technicolor truck in the background, but SVG up the inside into turn 4, using all of that grass, and he'll get through.
So SVG back up into what will be a podium position. McLaughlin's still not out of the fight, but I just don't think that he's quite had the pace of some of the other front-running trucks. He's sitting in 5th position at the moment. Here is our race leader, Joel Berkeley. Again, there's a bit of lapse traffic that both he and Cooper Webster are having to negotiate. Cooper Webster right in the draft of Joel Berkeley. The margin's down to just 0.3 of a second between the 2 race leaders. The truck that's at the head of this queue is a lap down. That's the number 44 entry. Through goes Berkeley on the inside. Webster looking to follow through. Hopefully the number 44 stays out of the way, but he doesn't, nudges Webster into the wall.
That was Ben Christensen, who we saw inside the fence earlier on in the race. So he's just made a little bit of contact with Webster. I'm sure Webster won't be too happy with that. 5 minutes to go on the clock. So we've got 3 laps left in this race. Van Gisbergen makes a little bit of a mistake out of the infield section. McLaughlin's just driven up the wall, and that'll check his pace up as well. So Hansen will come through and take 5th position away. Although there's contact again between these two. A little bit of heated rivalry there. Oh no, McLaughlin in the wall hard. Hopefully he can continue on.
Jay Hansen getting his muscles out. Race winner in the Australian Formula Ford Championship at Phillip Island in the final round, and not afraid to get his elbows out against the current Supercars champion and Bathurst 1000 winner. Great to see.
Hansen's actually just come into the pit, so possibly damaged his truck a little bit from that contact he just had there with McLaughlin, so that's unfortunate. I've just seen too that, have a look at how far back now McLaughlin is. He's battling now with Mia Ott and Cameron Dance, so a long way back as Webster now defending from SVG as Ben Christensen still sitting in the middle of the road. He needs to really get out of the way, and will now.
He's down in 31st position, Ben Christensen. He really just needs to, like you say, sidestep these leaders, and Shane Van Gisbergen's going to tolerate any lapsed vehicles holding him up. He nudges Ben Christensen. That's actually worked out pretty well for SVG because he's moved up into 2nd position, and through he goes on Christensen, and Michael Haley has managed to get ahead of Cooper Webster as well.
Michael Hammond, who was in the top 10, that's unfortunately just got help back onto his wheels, so he might be able to continue on, but that engine looks like it's a little bit fried. Webster trying to get through on Michael Healy here. This is going to get very, very tight, because these two have been very, very evenly matched for pace right from the green flag as well. These two have been going at it almost all race, these two. See if Webster can get this position. SVG trying to get away, but Berkeley now 4-second lead over these guys with 2 laps to go. Will Berkeley be able to hold on? I think he can, as long as he doesn't make a mistake or lap traffic interfere. Have a look at what's just ahead. Lap traffic. There is every potential that he could lose this race just based on lap traffic. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen. SVG second, Healy third, Cooper Webster fourth. It's down to these four. McLaughlin's dropped a long way back now in sixth position. He's at 15 seconds off the lead of the race, so obviously a little bit of damage for McLaughlin, starting to really struggle. Am I reading the timing screen right that Andrew Collins is back in seventh?
You are, yep. So
How?
that's what a recovery. What a recovery drive. He just keeps finding ways to keep finishing somewhere in the top 10, doesn't he, Andrew Collins? The most consistent performer in the Just Send It series, and there he is battling it out with Cameron Dance at the moment.
Cam was going to join us in the commentary box tonight, but he said, no, I'm having too much fun racing, so I'm going to get out there on track. So that's why he's out there. Just in the background, you see a couple of lap cars get involved. There's 3 lap cars altogether. They're getting involved in an incident. So as Dance and Collins change position, we'll go to the front of the field. 3.6 seconds. So SVG is closing. Is he going to be able to close in enough?
We'll have to
Seems
keep
like
an
a
eye
big
on-
margin, doesn't it?
It does, and there's only a couple of laps to go. And you're talking about the laps traffic before, and that's basically the reason why Joel Berkeley ended up with such a comprehensive lead, because they got a better run past Ben Christensen than the others. So that was why Joel Berkeley was able to open up such a margin. But Van Gisbergen is fractionally quicker at the moment, but he might just run out of time because there's only going to be 1 lap to go at the end of this one.
He's already gained half a second in a couple of corners, though, so he can gain half a second every 2 corners. He'll be right there with about 2 corners to go. So there is every chance that he will get there. SVG, one of the fastest racers on the roadside in iRacing, not just in the real world in a supercar, but also in iRacing too. Very, very accomplished driver on the iRacing service. But Berkeley doing a very, very good job. It's unfamiliar territory for him with there being no dirt underneath his wheels. White flag will fly now for the drivers. This is the last lap here at Belle Isle Grand Prix circuit in Detroit. One of the most iconic IndyCar circuits in the world, of course famous for IndyCar and IMSA. And that is the gap you can see on screen. Last lap by Berkeley, a lot faster, but I'm just hearing in the background there, that's a car around at turn 3 just ahead. That's Hansen, who was right with these guys not that long ago.
Remember, he had to come in for that pit stop as well after the contacts that he had with Scott McLaughlin. So he was up there for a while, but the back end of this race has gone a bit pear-shaped for Jay Hansen. And Berkeley's
hit the wall.
Lap traffic.
He's hit the wall. Look at the damage to the front of that truck. He's crabbing big time. He's going to have to hold on so well to win this race now. He's got huge damage. SVG's going to win this race just based on attrition.
Wow, can Joel Berkeley get this thing home? What a finish we're set for here. Shane Van Gisbergen has got the race leader in his gun sights. There's a couple of lap vehicles in between them as well. But Joel Berkeley, this is going to be the biggest of challenges if he can get that damaged truck home. Shane Van Gisbergen barging his way up the inside, just knocks the laps car out of the way. You can see that the race leader's made a mistake. You can see that the race leader's wounded. Here it comes. There's contact between the two of them. Here it is. This is the battle for the lead and for the win in week 10 of Just Send It. Can Van Gisbergen get through? Here it comes. Big send up the inside. This is for the lead. Berkeley in the fence. Van Gisbergen in the fence as well.
Cooper Webster's going to steal this one. He's going to absolutely Bradbury it, is he? Berkeley's gone, and Cooper Webster leads with 3 corners on this circuit to go. Through the second last corner, they've got the kink at the pit wall. Cooper Webster is going to steal this win. He's come from nowhere, and Cooper Webster wins at Belle Isle. Incredible race. What a finish.
Unbelievable. So he back-to-back wins then for Cooper Webster. Becomes the first 2-time winner in Just Send It, and he does it with back-to-back wins. He was victorious last week in the Mercedes. He's victorious this week here at the Belle Isle circuit in 2 completely different types of vehicles. What a performance. What a win.
And Berkeley's done it all by himself. The same thing that McLaughlin did, and it's just ripped the wheel and damaged the front of that truck. It just ripped into that same piece of wall that we saw Scott McLaughlin hit earlier on in the race. Incredible and heartbreaking for Joel Berkeley. We nearly had 10 from 10, but 9 different winners in 10 races with our first ever back-to-back winner Congratulations, Cooper Webster.
That was a photo finish there at the end between him and Shane Van Gisbergen. And what great awareness from Cooper Webster to say that the opportunity presented itself after the race leaders came together to fire it down the inside in the very last corner and pinch the win. Awesome stuff.
After
what a finish.
Yeah, incredible. So after restarting third at that pit stop, we got, at the restart, he did come in and make his pit stop, did Oliver Shannon on that next lap, and he's going to bring it home in 23rd position in his debut and just send it. But congratulations to Cooper Webster for Evolution Racing Team. Incredible drive. And talk about a Bradbury. That's incredible. Wow. What a finish. I can't believe that he's come back and won that.
These Just Send It races never fail to deliver, do they?
They have been absolutely amazing every single week, and they'll be back again next week. Where and with what, well, you and I know, but no one else does.
And we're not allowed to tell anyone yet.
Well, there's also the chance that it might get changed again like it was this week. But Cooper Webster officially the winner in the end with a 4/10 of a second win over SVG. Joel Berkeley in third. Unfortunately, you actually feel sorry for Berkeley because he deserved that win with the way that had driven in the middle phase of that race to get himself in the lead. Michael Healy in fourth, Mia Ott in fifth, Scott McLaughlin sixth, and somehow he's done it yet again. Another top 8 finish for Andrew Collins. That's nearly every single race in this series that he's had a top 10 finish. He's been incredible throughout this series with Cameron Dance in 8th.
Yeah, we don't have a championship for Just Send It, but if we did, I can tell you that Andrew Collins would be well and truly the leader just based on the consistency of his performances. Good to see Glenn Postlethwaite in the top 10. Another Super 2 driver in Matt Charter there in position number 12. Ahead of Jonathan Bykoff, who races in the Super 3 Series. Mitchell McGarry in 14th, Robert Drysdale. And then Chris Coxhead rounding out your top 16.
Yep, Chris Owen, who was involved in the battles early on in the race. Matt Morris, who we said was right up there at the start of the race as well. Unfortunate finish for him. Oliver Shannon, as we said, back in 23rd position. That is our field that are on the lead lap. Reece Lowe upsetting the stewards once again to finish one lap down. Ben Christensen, Gary Hamilton, unfortunate to see him one lap down, and Jay Hansen as well, 2 laps down. Vince Gucciardo from GB Galvanizing, great to see him back out on track again. He's having great fun out in there in this series and finishes 2 laps down in P30. He'll be pretty happy with that, I'm pretty sure, as he's one of the bigger movers in the field once again. Michael Hammond in 32nd, Blake Purdy back in 34th, and a few heartbreaking names back in the field. Terry Nightingale back in 39th, 6 laps down, but Josh Anderson, 8 laps down, finishes in 43rd. Of course, was in the lead up until that final caution.
Yeah, and then obviously made his pit stop, got shuffled back in the pack, and then got caught up in an incident, and that put him well back down the order.
Now, am I also looking at this right and saying Matt Charter is our postie tonight with plus 43 positions?
Wow, that's very, very impressive,
that's
isn't it?
That's pretty good. Plus 43 to finish in 12th. So started back in, 55th position in a 56 car field. That's an incredible effort. Josh Anderson did get the fastest lap of the race. Best send definitely goes to Gary Hamilton. Failed send, who are we going to give that one to tonight?
Ooh.
There's a few.
Might
be a post-race review. Check that out on the Facebook page. we could have 3 or 4 contenders for that.
Yep.
But we will wrap it up. Thanks again, Lockie, for jumping in. What a night of racing we've had, and I can't wait for next week, wherever it is and in whatever car it is, because this series has just been so enjoyable every single broadcast we've done.
All I'll say is that I know that next week, based on the car and track selection, it will be cool.
It will
and
be.
That's all I'll say on that subject.
Yep, it will be very, very cool. Big thank you once again to Wolfchester, Simworks, Vantage Freight, the Hype Project, GB Galvanizing, of course, JSC Technologies. If you do want to be a part of Just Send It, is open to every single iRacing member. So all you need to do is have an iRacing account, have the content, and you can join our pros and top sim racers out there on track each and every week. We are live every week as well on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube as well. So make sure you do also subscribe to all of the social media platforms that we are a part of as well here at SimSpeed TV, and as well on Just Send It Now, also on Instagram and Facebook at Just Send It Sim Racing. We are SimSpeed. SimSpeed Esports and SimSpeed TV on social media as well. Lockie, thanks for jumping in once again. We will see you next week. No idea at all where we're going to be, but well, we do have a bit of an idea, but we're looking forward to it either way, just as long as we've got some air conditioning in the comms box.
Indeed. Thanks as always for having me, Jay. That was an epic night of sending.
Definitely was. On behalf of the entire team behind the scenes, thank you to everyone for tuning in. Thanks to all the drivers for all of their awesome effort out on track tonight. We will see you next week where we are and what car we will be at. Will be announced on Monday night on all of the social media platforms. So do subscribe and follow all of the social media for Just Send It, and there will be an announcement there. But until then, thank you very, very much for tuning in, and we will see you next time here on SimSpeed TV.
This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now. He's got traction. He's got rid of the outside. Both of them. Maloney. Oh, he's taking Anderson. Anderson's up to all. Oh my God. Oh, big crash. Oh my goodness. Half the field's going to get rolled.
Second very close. These guys are going to want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, there we go. Oh no. That's massive. This is it. This is over. I can't believe this. Oh my God.
God, what?